Welcome to the series where I test out the OSRS Wiki money-making guides. I started this series almost a year ago, and since then we've tried out multiple methods even if they're a little silly, such as picking bananas or even flax. If you enjoy these types of videos, then feel free to check out the playlist that I've made for them, and feel free to leave a suggestion down in the comments for a method that you'd like to see tested. With that being said, let's get into the video. So for today's video, we'll be taking a look at making raw summer pies. Now it says you do need 95 cooking to do this, along with 1 million GP to of course buy the ingredients that you will be needing. Speaking of ingredients, we do need pie shells, strawberries, watermelons, and cooking apples. Now the experience you gain from this is going to be very minimal, but it could be an interesting moneymaker to try out. Profit does say 467,000, so we'll be taking a look to see how much we can get today from 1 hour. Now the wiki does say that you can make up to 670 raw summer pies, but we'll be seeing how fast we can do it. Now it also says that you are supposed to use up all the strawberries and all the pie shells before moving on to the next ingredient, but since I am timing myself for 1 hour, I'll just be making the full pies instead of adding one ingredient at a time. Now as for the gear setup, you won't be needing anything for this moneymaker. I am wearing, however, my max cape and of course the best helmet in the game. It's been a very long time since I've worn this helmet in a video, so I thought we'd go ahead and bring that back. All you'll be needing for this moneymaker is just of course the ingredients, the pie shells, strawberries, watermelons, and cooking apple. I've bought 1,000 of each, and before we get into it, I just want to say, what kind of world do we live in where a single strawberry is 207 coins, but a full-size watermelon is only 18? Yeah, the prices don't really add up, but anyways, let's go ahead and jump into it. Also, some plugins that I'll be using for this moneymaker is the camera zoom plugin in Runescape. That's just so I can get closer to the bank. And we'll go ahead and also put a screen marker for the deposit inventory button, and we can line that up with the bank so that whenever we're done with this inventory, we can just click into the yellow square and then also hit the deposit inventory button as well to deposit everything else. But yeah, now that I think about it, we probably won't be using this until we are completely done with the pie, because after we put these strawberries in there, I'll probably just withdraw the watermelons and then we'll go from there. So as for the method on this moneymaker, it is very simple. We're simply taking the pie shells and the strawberries and mixing them together. Once we add the strawberries, we can then add the watermelon. After the watermelon, we can add the cooking apple, and that is a finished, uncooked raw summer pie. Now, like I said before, the wiki does recommend adding all of your strawberries to all of your pie shells first and then moving on to the next ingredient, but since I am timing myself for this 1 hour, I just opted to make the full pie instead. And also, if you're wondering, I did set my quantity option to X, and that X amount is 14, so all we have to do is left click on whatever ingredient we want and it'll pull out 14 for us very easily. Now you're probably wondering what summer pies are even used for. They are actually used in the agility skill. After you eat a summer pie, it'll give you a temporary boost of 5 agility levels, so they do come in handy. And I definitely used a whole lot of these while I was training agility, especially whenever I wanted to train in Arty on the rooftops there, since I think the requirement is 90, so yeah, I started from 85. Of course, it'll be beneficial to be higher even though you're eating summer pies, that way the boost will last longer. For instance, if you are 85 and you boost to 90, it'll only work for a minute before you have to eat again. These pies are also a good source of food. They heal you 22 hit points in total. They do take 2 bites to eat, however. And not only do you get the 5 agility levels, but you also get a restoration of 10% to your energy. So yeah, overall, these are some very powerful pies that we are making here. And it is important to note that the cooked versions are only worth about 500 coins. So yeah, you don't really profit if you just buy the raw version and cook them yourself. Now, a helpful tip to remember while doing this moneymaker is to click on the pie shell first and then the ingredient in your inventory, because if you click on a strawberry first, the first option is to eat it, so you can accidentally eat your strawberry and eat into your profits. And you may or may not notice, but I did get hungry throughout this moneymaker, so I did eat one of my strawberries, but yeah, it was a complete accident. I gotta say, I am a little disappointed that there is no animation for making these pies. It would have been cool to see your character handling a pie shell and just adding ingredients to it. I guess similar to making wines whenever he's like dipping the grapes into the jug. That would have been cool to see. But looking past that,
This did give me some nostalgia from back in the day whenever I used to cook apple pies in the cooking guild. There was just something so satisfying about adding multiple ingredients into one item, and yeah, I definitely got that feeling again doing this moneymaker. Now, I did want to do this video for a while since it was requested a couple times a long time ago, but every time I would check the prices for this moneymaker, it simply wasn't viable. A lot of the items weren't traded that often, and if they were, the prices were just too expensive to make a profit. So before you do this moneymaker, if you want to do this moneymaker, make sure you do a price check on all the items and make a full pie yourself to see if it's still profitable. I also noticed that I wasn't getting any cooking XP for this. I think the cooking XP that they mentioned in the wiki was if you were to bake the pies yourself using the magic spell, which I've personally never done. But yeah, I think that's where the cooking XP comes into play, because just adding ingredients to the pies themselves does not grant any XP. Now, something interesting about these pies is that if you accidentally bank one of the part pies, being not the full pie, it'll leave a placeholder, but as soon as you withdraw it again from the bank, the placeholder will be gone, so it won't make a mess in your bank, which is nice, I guess. And once again, I just want to reiterate, if you are making these pies yourself for money, don't cook them, because if you cook them, you essentially cut the price of these in half. So yeah, don't do that. Yeah, it'll grant you cooking XP as well, but at that point, you're much better off cooking other stuff that doesn't have such a high cooking requirement, and something that'll profit you, like the dark crabs that we did recently. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this moneymaker. Very simple, very straightforward, and it's pretty chill. And with that being said, we are approaching the end of this 1 hour of making these raw summer pies, and I gotta say, it was pretty enjoyable. Something about putting multiple items into one pie is just so satisfying. But now we can go ahead and take a look at how much total profit we made from this 1 hour of making these raw summer pies. So after 1 hour of making these raw wild pies, we managed to make 840 of them. Pretty good amount. Now if we do a price check on that, we can see that it is valued at just around 1 mil. But of course we did have to pay for all the ingredients, so yeah, that's not pure profit. Let's go ahead and sell them in the GE and see how much money that we can make. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in there for the market price, or just right under that, and see if they eventually sell. And if they do, well, that's some nice money that we made. So if we take a look here, the amount of money has come through, about 795,000 coins for the 840 pies that we managed to make. So if we take into account the cost of supplies, which was 385,560 GP, subtract that from the money we made, which was 795,480 GP, that gives us a grand total profit of 409,920 GP. So it is a decent amount of money, but since it does have a high requirement of 95 cooking, I think you're better off doing some other moneymakers for this GP per hour. I just want to say thanks for checking out the video, and thank you to the people who have decided to become channel members, with a special thanks to Captain Fat Daddy. Becoming a channel member is one of the best ways to show some extra support, and you get some perks along with it too. Once again, thanks for checking out the video, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and maybe even a subscription, and as always, I will catch you guys in the next episode.